Juan Williams. We all know the deal with Juan Williams. So he says, helping his friend Bill O'Reilly out, who Bill O'Reilly on The View, of course, saying that Muslims attacked us on 9/11, the Whoopi Goldberg and Joey Behar walk off their own show. And everybody gets, that becomes a big story, and then Juan Williams goes on O'Reilly and defends it. So in case you missed it, which seems inconceivable, we've got a little clip from Juan Williams, but there's some fun things in here that perhaps you may have missed in the story. So let's go with 1A. Here's the first clip from Juan Williams.
I hate to say this to you because I don't want to get your ego going, but I think you're right. I think, look, political correctness can lead to some kind of paralysis where you don't address reality. I mean, look, Bill, I'm not a bigot. You know the kind of books I've written about the civil rights movement in this country. But when I get on a plane, I got to tell you, if I see people who are in Muslim garb, and I think, you know, they're identifying themselves first and foremost as Muslims, I get worried. I get nervous. Now, I remember also that when that Times Square bomber was at court, I think this was just last week, he said the war with Muslims, America's war with Muslims, is just beginning.
So a couple things I love about that. First, let me get to the thing he said at the end, that the Times Square bomber. So Juan Williams essentially says, the Times Square bomber says that it's a war on Muslims, so I guess it is. So when it's convenient for anyone working for Fox to base their whole sense of language on something that a crazy terrorist said, well, then that's fine. Hey, man, a crazy terrorist said it. Yeah, well, Osama bin Laden has called us all infidels, but I don't see you going around quoting Osama bin Laden. So Juan Williams' tactic of sort of couching everything he says, well, an idiot 17-year-old unstable terrorist said it, so I guess it's true. Pretty sure he's not 17. So that's objectionable. And then the other part that, of course, is most objectionable, well, let's go with a couple. First, terrorists don't wear Muslim garb. The whole point of September 11th is that they blended in. So if you see somebody in a Muslim outfit on the plane, you're probably okay. Take a deep breath. Then it's like Juan Williams is so close to a really good point, right on the cusp of actually saying something thoughtful and smart, which is an honest thing that millions of people could engage in, that I could engage in, that you listening could engage in. All of us, given the climate, could see somebody dressed pronouncedly as to let everybody know that their faith, that they're of the Islamic faith, and you might think, I'm nervous. And then instantly, if you're a thoughtful person, you would say, wait a minute, why am I nervous? That doesn't make any sense. And starting a conversation about how, hey, maybe being nervous doesn't make any sense and we should think about that, then all of a sudden Juan Williams is saying something thoughtful and honest and insightful. But instead, he just says, because Bill O'Reilly's his buddy, you know what, Bill O'Reilly, you're right. You did say it. We're at war with Muslims, and you're politically incorrect if you say otherwise. I don't like being called politically correct. I mean, you're politically correct if you say otherwise. I don't like being called politically correct. It's essentially derogatory. I think, like all of us, we're thoughtful and interested in helping us get through this difficult time. And I'll be honest, I don't even think it's too much to say this. We're helping our soldiers get through a difficult time. There's no way that David Petraeus over in Afghanistan thinks that it's really helpful to stand up, if you're an influential member of the media like Bill O'Reilly, to stand up and say, we're at war with Muslims. That makes it difficult on our soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq. It makes it difficult on David Petraeus, because in case you don't get it, Bill O'Reilly, and in case you don't get it, Juan Williams, what we are trying to do, and the only possible conceivable way we can succeed with troops on the ground or by simply sort of being supportive and pulling out and entering into negotiations, the only possible way that we can accomplish anything here is if we convince the vast swath, the 99.999% of Muslims who haven't even given a thought to committing an act of terror against anybody from the West, that we mean what we say, and that we can administer a just and fair foreign policy, and that we can work with them and build a relationship. And when you're trying to work with moderate people of any faith, and you go around and say, you people attacked us, all of you people, and you're not smart enough to make the distinction between radical Islamic terrorists And again, the 99.99% of Muslims who's never dreamt of doing anything like this. And by the way, the overwhelming majority, of course, just like you, just like everybody else, they don't care. They're just sitting on their couch and they're trying to get through the day and do their job and make sure their kids are okay. But instead of what you were doing is saying to those people, screw you, you attacked us too. And they're sitting there in Egypt or Yemen or even Afghanistan or Iraq or Iran, and they're going like, I didn't attack you. I'm watching Iranian Idol. I didn't freaking attack you. What are you doing? Shut it. So Juan Williams does not get that in any way.